Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and welcome to Global Atheist News Roundup, dateline the 6th of July 2024. Here is the headlines. There was a horrifying Islamist meeting in Britain. Hamas faces growing public dissent as Gaza war erodes support. Marine Le Pen rejects the veil and threatens to expel Islamists. Turkish YouTuber faces arrest for insulting Islam and Prophet Muhammad. Stone the Devil rocks fall into a funnel so they can be resold to Hajis. An Australian senator resigns after the Gaza vote backlash. More than 120 were killed in a crush at an Indian religious event. A Jewish manifesto demands defense of infant circumcision. A Tory candidate was a trustee of a church that endorsed conversion therapy. A pastor says to his abuse victim, "Name your price to not go public." And a heavy metal hijabi band, Voice of Baceprot, played at Glastonbury Festival. Momus says these people will never integrate because they have never been made to, and now they have no need to do so, and they will never be British. See this video.
Imagine we wake up on the 5th of July, Fajr time, and we hear the news that Shabana Mahmood's seat has fallen to us. Not to me, to us, to the people of Birmingham, because the people of Birmingham were united under the banner of La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. And that is the banner that when we go to be judged by the biggest judge of them all, we know we can say to the Lord and be proud about it that we didn't support genocide enablers. We didn't bring genocide enablers into our homes like I see some of our Muslim brothers doing these days. They should be ashamed of themselves. They say they stand with Palestine, then they let hypocrites into their homes. This is the Ummah of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam getting divided to take some pictures so they can go back home to Pakistan or Kashmir in their village to show people pictures. I took a picture with Shabana Mahmood, Jess Phillips. What are they going to get out of that? When they go and feel the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then they will find out. But we here today, we have a choice. Everybody is here today because you are on the right side of history.
Open criticism of Hamas has been growing in Gaza, both on the streets and online. Some have publicly criticized Hamas for hiding hostages in apartments near a busy marketplace, or for firing rockets from civilian areas. Residents have told the BBC that swearing and cursing against the Hamas leadership is now common in the markets, and that some drivers of donkey carts have even nicknamed their animals after the Hamas leader in Gaza, Yahya Sinwar, urging the animals forward with shouts of "Yalla Sinwar." People say things like, "Hamas has destroyed us," or even call on God to take their lives, one man said. They ask what the October the 7th attacks were for. Some say they were a gift to Israel. Some are even urging their leaders to agree a ceasefire with Israel. Warning, the following video is graphic. The man in the video is beside himself, a mask of anguish radiating through his bloodied face. See this video. It's been taken down, but this is an academic doctor who says that I've had a good life. But we have a filthy leadership. They got used to our bloodshed. May God curse them. They are scum. The video, unthinkable before the Gaza war, was filmed outside a hospital, inundated with hundreds of Palestinian casualties after an Israeli operation to free hostages from central Gaza last month. Seconds before the video ends, he turns to the crowd. "I'm one of you," he says, "but you are a cowardly people. We could have avoided this attack." Marine Le Pen, leader of right-wing National Party, the party that came first in the opening contest of the French Parliament election, rejects the request to wear the veil for an audience with the Grand Mufti. See this video.
Non. J'ai rencontré le grand Mufti d'Al-Azhar. Le grand Mufti d'Al-Azhar. Il n'a pas réclamé cela. Donc, voilà. La plus haute autorité sunnite du monde n'a pas eu cette exigence, par conséquent, je n'ai aucune raison de... Mais c'est pas grave, vous transmettrez au grand Mufti ma considération, mais je ne me voilerai pas. Voilà. Bon, allez. Allez.
And she declared at a party rally, those connected to Islamist ideology must be stripped of their nationality and expelled. French who adopt the ideology of the enemy must be punished. Radical mosques will be shut down, and the Muslim Brotherhood will be dissolved. See this video.
Mais j'en appelle à la sagesse et au bon sens des Français. Qu'on me donne une raison, une seule, pour garder sur notre territoire des étrangers qui collaborent avec une idéologie totalitaire qui veut la mort des Français. Les binationaux en lien avec l'idéologie islamiste doivent être déchus de leur nationalité et expulsés. Les Français qui adoptent l'idéologie de l'ennemi doivent être traduits devant les tribunaux et punis. Les lois existent, il suffit de les appliquer. Eh bien, moi, Présidente, ces lois seront appliquées sans faiblir. En quelques semaines, je vous le promets, la France aura pris toutes les dispositions nécessaires pour se mettre à l'abri des fichiers S et en totale conformité avec notre état de droit. Les mosquées radicales seront fermées, les prêcheurs de haine expulsés, les associations faunées du salafisme et des frères musulmans seront dissoutes. Avec moi, ayez la certitude que les droits des femmes aujourd'hui contestés par l'obscurantisme islamiste seront garantis à toutes les femmes de France. Avec moi, la sécurité n'ira pas à l'encontre de la liberté, en tout cas de la liberté des honnêtes gens. Je veux
In a controversial incident highlighting the complex relationship between secularism and Islam in Turkey, popular YouTuber Diamond Tema faces an arrest warrant for allegedly insulting Islam and Prophet Muhammad during a recent interview. See this video.
Turkish YouTuber faces arrest for insulting Islam and the Prophet Muhammad. In a controversial incident highlighting the complex relationship between secularism and Islam in Turkey, popular YouTuber known as Diamond Tema faces an arrest warrant for allegedly insulting Islam and the Prophet Muhammad during a recent interview. The case underscores the ongoing tensions in Turkey, a country that, despite its official secular status, has seen a rise in religious conservatism under President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's leadership. The Turkish justice minister announced an investigation into Tema, citing charges of quote-unquote fomenting hatred and enmity among the people under Article 216 of the Turkish Penal Code. The minister declared, quote, ugly and provocative statements targeting Islam and our beloved prophet are never acceptable.
If you want a great recycling business, there's the Throw Stones at the Devil sideshow at the Hajj. The stones fall into a pit from where they can be collected and resold. See this video. Senator Fatima Payman has resigned from Australia's ruling Labour Party days after voting against it to support a motion on Palestinian statehood. Labour has strict penalties for those who undermine its policy positions, and Ms. Payman was already indefinitely suspended from the party's caucus after voting to do it again. This is a matter I cannot compromise on, the 29-year-old said on Thursday, adding that she was deeply torn over the decision. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said Ms. Payman had thanked him for his leadership and denied allegations that she had been intimidated into quitting. She will now join the crossbench as an independent senator. The 29-year-old Muslim lawmaker, whose family fled Afghanistan after it fell to the Taliban in 1996, is Australia's first and only hijab-wearing federal politician. Unlike my colleagues, I know how it feels to be on the receiving end of injustice. My family did not flee a war-torn country to come here as refugees for me to remain silent when I see atrocities inflicted on innocent people, she said during a press conference on her resignation. The conflict in Gaza has become a volatile political issue in Australia that all sides have sought to carefully manage. At least 121 people have been killed in a crush at a religious gathering in northern India. The incident took place at a satsang, a Hindu religious event, in Hathras district in Uttar Pradesh state. The victims, including a large number of women and some children, are still being identified. Survivors have described how the disaster unfolded as they tried to leave the event in Fulrai village. It's not yet clear what led to the crush. Witnesses said the exit was too narrow, and when people were leaving, a fierce dust storm led to confusion and panic, causing many people to become trampled. An eyewitness, who asked to remain anonymous, told the BBC everything was going fine until, all of a sudden, I heard screams, and before I knew it, people were falling on each other. Many were crushed, and I couldn't do much. I'm just lucky to have survived. One woman, named only as Shakutala, told the press that when the sermon finished, everyone started running out. People fell in a drain by the road. They started falling on top of one another and got crushed to death. The chief medical officer from the neighbouring district of Etah told reporters the stampede had left at least 3 children dead. A spokesperson for a senior police officer in Uttar Pradesh told the BBC it would take hours to release the final death tally. Distressing images from the site are being circulated online. Some videos showed the injured being taken to hospitals in pickup trucks, tuk-tuks, and even on motorbikes. A clip seen by the BBC showed several bodies left at the entrance of a local hospital as relatives screamed for help. A Jewish manifesto has said political parties should defend the right of Jews to practice infant circumcision despite serious human rights concerns. The manifesto from the Board of Deputies of British Jews says the religious practice of cutting the foreskin off the penises of newborn male babies must be safeguarded. But infant circumcision has been increasingly criticised as a painful, dangerous, and medically unnecessary procedure. The National Secular Society says circumcision is incompatible with children's rights. The Jewish manifesto says male circumcision should not be conflated with female genital cutting, FGM, which it describes as an assault that often causes serious long-term damage. But an increasing body of evidence suggests that male circumcision also risks long-term damage and even death. Between 2012 and 2022, the General Medical Council dealt with 39 complaints relating to 30 doctors regarding circumcisions. The complaints include incidents in which children's penises were left deformed and babies required blood transfusions. In 2011, nearly a dozen infant boys were treated for life-threatening hemorrhage, shock, or sepsis as a result of circumcision at a single children's hospital in Birmingham. At least 3 babies bled to death from circumcision in the UK since 2009. In 2007, a newborn baby went into cardiac arrest minutes after he was circumcised in a London synagogue and subsequently died. In 2015, the High Court ruled that non-therapeutic male circumcision constitutes significant harm under the Children Act 1989. The High Court further concluded that male circumcision is more invasive than type 4 FGM. But while all forms of FGM are prohibited in the UK, no laws or regulations protect boys from non-consensual, non-therapeutic circumcision. The Jewish manifesto says not permitting Jewish parents to have their sons circumcised is considered an infringement of their religious freedom. But the NSS argues that cutting a boy's penis without his consent violates his right to bodily autonomy, in addition to his freedom of religion or belief. The NHS website lists permanent reduction in sensation in the head of the penis, particularly during sex, as a complication of circumcision. In a 2018 YouGov survey, 62% of people in the UK said they would support prohibiting circumcision of children for non-medical reasons. Conservative candidate Miriam Cates was a trustee of a church while it promoted so-called conversion therapy, the BBC has learned. An independent report has concluded that conversion practices which seek to change or suppress someone's sexual orientation or gender identity were endorsed and supported by St. Thomas's Philadelphia Church in Sheffield between 2014 and 2019. Mrs. Cates was a member of the church between 2003 and 2018 and a trustee from 2016 to 2018. She told the BBC she was unaware of the allegations and that she does not endorse gay conversion therapy. Although the BBC has not found any evidence that Mrs. Cates has direct knowledge of gay conversion therapy taking place, the report found that it was openly discussed and part of the church's culture during the time that she was a member and during some of her time as a trustee. The Church of England's Diocese of Sheffield requested the charity, Barnardo's, to carry out an independent investigation into the church after Matt Draper, a gay man, complained he was the victim of an exorcism ritual there in 2014. Put a price on it. These are the words of disgraced pastor and founder of Gateway Church and spiritual advisor to former President Donald Trump, Robert Morris, who wanted to know just how much it would take to prevent a woman from going public with her accusation that he'd sexually abused her as a child. The woman, Cindy Clemishire, responded with a figure, $2 million. According to a transcript provided to NBC News, this conversation, which took place on September the 22nd, 2005, was part of a series of exchanges in which Clemishire sought restitution for the trauma she says Morris inflicted on her in the 1980s, beginning when she was just 12 years old. Nearly 2 decades later, Clemishire finally spoke out publicly about her years of abuse. Her account was first published by the Wartburg Watch on June the 14th, leading Morris to finally confess to inappropriate sexual behaviour and to resign from Gateway Church. The fallout from these revelations has been profound, as the church, founded 24 years ago in Southlake, Texas, now grapples with the repercussions of the scandal. Voice of Baceprot, or Baceprot, I don't know, a heavy rock hijab-wearing girl band, played at Glastonbury. See this video.
Kita kan bawain musik metal nih, terus di kampung terutama kan suka dianggap kalau musik metal itu musik setan gitu, gak cocok dimainin sama perempuan apalagi kita berhijab gitu. Kalau konser pasti ada yang nyeletuk gitu, Allahu Akbar, duar gitu, bom kayak gitu-gitu tuh suka dari penonton. Ya. Dari penonton. Jadi kita udah kriminal aja gitu, teroris gitu di matanya.
Menurut saya malah di zaman yang sekarang tuh kan emang perempuan kan udah lebih banyak yang berhijab juga ya, jadi untuk metal berhijab tuh justru bagus gitu, maksudnya berhijab bukan berarti jadi penghalang buat main musik apapun gitu sih.
Ya itu satu-satunya band wanita berhijab metal. Pantas aja buat saya. Di agama Islam tidak memandang itu apapun, yang kalau emang itu ajarannya bagus ya dilanjutin aja.
Kita nanti bikin komunitas, kita bikin gerakan di situ. Terus kayak untuk Baceprot yang mungkin belum punya kerjaan juga nanti kita akan bikin semacam usaha kecil-kecilan yang bisa mereka kelola. Gitu. Terus nanti di ruang itu juga kita maunya memberdayakan komunitas di sana, skena-skena lokal di sana.
Following this news, Tercy and I will be chatting with Yvonne, a counsellor who helps people who have been harmed by religion. You can join in by text. This has been Global Atheist News. Please like, subscribe and share. Thank you for watching.